Brad with the Burn Online, and I am sitting here with Colton and Tim from Gadget. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. How's it going?
Good, good.
Doing
Glad.
good, man.
What's that?
Doing good, man.
Doing good. Yeah, I'm glad to have finally caught up with you guys. I know it's been weird with the COVID thing going on and not being able to hang out, but by the power of the internet and technology, it's almost as if we're sitting next to each other. It's pretty cool. So, what's been happening? I know that
Yeah.
Rituals just came out.
Yep. That was nice to get that out. It was fun to make.
There you go.
That's mostly what's been happening. We've been pushing rituals pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We busted ass to get it done. And then once we were done, we're like, oh shit, how do we do this? Push it now.
Right.
It's going pretty well, I think. Like, we've had some help pushing it, but we do most of the shit ourselves too. So we're just like, not the best at that part of it.
Hey, whatever you got to do. So I guess, so for people that haven't heard Gadget, we can start out with kind of an introduction. Like I said, we've had Tim and Colton. Are you guys the only two members of the band?
The only two consistent always members.
I think that Colton and I do most of the writing. Actually on Rituals, Colton did 99.9% of the writing. I just came in and did lyrics and did the vocals, but for the most part, it's usually just the two of us. We do have other members. Austin Williams is one of them.
Okay.
And we've had a kind of a rotating cast of members in the past, but as of now, it's Colton, myself, and Austin.
Cool. Core members. So how did you guys... go ahead.
It's just, we started it, and it's always, we're kind of the ones that write everything. But that being said, we've also always kind of pulled in some friends and other players and stuff, because that's kind of fun too. Like, just for, if you're gonna play a show, like, you should probably bring in some other members. And we had a couple of different drummers for a while, and then my brother Austin's been pretty involved over the last few years, and then we'll bring in like some other players sometimes just to play shit. Like, it's just kind of fun to throw shit at other people.
Gotcha.
That are fun, and just say, add something to this. Cool. And then if it's cool, and we'll mix it in.
Yeah, there you go. So Colton, you play guitar, right?
Yeah.
And Tim is vocalist. And you said you had a drummer, so you're using electronics now, drum machines.
Yeah, which we've always done that. Like, when we started, we were always drum programming, like when we first and stuff. So it was always like very intentionally electronic drums. But I think when we want to start playing shows, we both were just like, couldn't wrap our brains around not having a drummer.
Right.
So we found one, and then ended up, and then we had another one after that. And so we did play shows like that. But usually the writing is like, just, we're in there programming the shit ourselves.
Cool.
We also, after having live drummers, we decided on more of a Godflesh type of approach, and literally it was us three on stage, Colton, Austin, myself, and our pre-programmed drums, just banging out of the speakers as a backing track.
Nice. I haven't heard a whole lot of Godflesh, but I have some friends that are super fans. And
shout out to Jeff.
The Jeff, that's exactly right. Jeff from Metal Pulp and Paper is a Godflesh fan. So,
Godflesh is so good.
I
love that band.
I probably need to listen to more of it, honestly.
They'll grow on you. I mean, they're just heavy and slow, and I don't know, grimy sounding, but
definitely grimy.
Very grimy.
Feels bad, but good.
Yeah, like, it's an acquired taste, I feel like, but I love that band. And in fact, it wasn't until I watched a Godflesh show online that I was like, oh, you can totally play your songs with a drum machine on stage or a laptop on stage, because that's how they did it. So I'm like, why are we so worried about not having a drummer?
Absolutely.
Godflesh did it.
Does it just feel weird, like it's not a full band or something? I mean,
at first it did, but once we played a show, we were like, wow, that was really easy, and like, you don't have to worry about the drummer rushing the tempo or like it's just the same every time, just exactly the way we wrote it, and you have control over the levels, or at least the sound engineer does,
Right.
which is pretty sweet. So yeah, once we did a show without a drummer, we're like, oh, we should just always do it like this.
Coming
Cool.
from being in traditional rock bands, punk bands, stuff like that, where you have all the traditional members in place with their instruments, it was a very weird thing for us to wrap our heads around. But
Yeah.
that was Colton's ingenuity, maybe based on seeing Godflesh, but it worked out well. Our load in and load out time was divided exponentially.
Oh, I can imagine.
Well, and it's nice. It's nice that drummers are loud, obviously, which is great, but you're always competing with a drum kit. And when you're just playing to your program drums, like the sound engineer has so much more control over the mix. You don't have to be crazy loud. Like if you're playing a smaller club, like you don't have to just blow people away.
Mm-hmm.
You can just bring the drums to a good level, and then we all just match that with the the instruments and vocals and stuff. And we're like, cool. You don't have to fucking wear earplugs. I mean,
Yes.
we could be loud as hell, but there's more control. And I think, yeah, we just from playing in bands for so long since we were kids, that at first the thought of playing a show without a drummer, I don't think either one of us could wrap our brains around it.
Well, I know for myself, I've seen videos of you guys on YouTube and whatnot. Never seen you live, unfortunately, and I lived in the same town, so I apologize for that. But do you notice from the crowd that it's not a full band? Do they look at you weird? Do they think it's not going to be what it is? Do you notice anything like that?
I think they do that no matter what we're doing. I think that the music is just, especially where we live, which you're familiar with,
Mm-hmm.
the music itself is underappreciated. And I think it scares off all the good time party people that tend to be in this area. I don't think there was that huge of a difference in crowd reaction from our sets with or without drummers. Personally, I don't think that. What do you think, Colton?
Yeah, I don't think so. It sounded better, honestly. Like it just sounded better. Like at sound check, we were able to get things dialed, and then when we came on, like maybe this looks weird to people because they hear drums and don't see a drummer, but like if they just close their eyes, I'm sure, and listened, it sounded better. And yeah, you're always gonna get that random person that's like, where's your fucking drummer? Or
Right.
you need a drummer. There's always gonna be people like that, but
They usually say, you need a singer.
Ah, poor Tim.
Or you guys
The
are
outcast.
weird, I don't get it. But I mean, but once you get past the whole thing, like they write their music without a real drummer and they program it. Like once you just think about it that way, I don't think it's weird anymore.
Right.
It sounds better.
Yeah. I mean, one less.
Drummers, like I love great drummers, but
Right. You got one less person back talking, or too many ideas in it. You guys are able
That's
to
right.
focus on the the task at hand and get it done.
yeah.
Without a damn drummer and their ego and their arms and their faces.
Expecting help.
Well, and the
Jeez.
sound we've always been going for, you can't get
No.
with a real drummer unless maybe they're playing like a hybrid kit where they're like acoustic drums and electronic drums. I mean, that would work, but the sound we've always been going for needs like electronic drums, like to get the sound that we're going for.
Right.
So, I love a good acoustic drum kit, and I sample those a lot and blend them in with the electronic drums. But there's something about electronic drums, synthetic drums, and like that industrial kind of clang and like hit. Like I just like that sound, so I want to use those sounds,
Exactly.
So it's like shit. We might as well just play to the drums that are on the record.
Absolutely. All right, we're back. I can hear the cheering. People are listening. That was amazing. So I got some questions on the music now that we've played some. I I was going to ask how you guys hooked up, but that really doesn't matter. But what, when you guys did hook up, was the idea and the basis of the music?
I mean, I was just demoing out some songs in my studio at home, and using drum machines, and I was kind of going for this gritty, like sort of industrial sound, and um, it just, Tim and I have been buddies for years, and we'd always talked about doing something, and then I had a couple of songs. I'm like, I think you should put some vocals to this, and literally the first song I think we wrote ended up being a really cool song that we're like, let's write some more. So
what was that one?
I think it was Creepy. I'm
You
pretty
think
sure
it was Creepy? I feel like the Fugazi Fake song was our first one.
Oh, maybe so.
I don't know if I'm right on that.
It might have been. Yeah, I mean, we wrote like 4 or 5 songs real quick, just because I had the demos, and we just were like, let's record them, and at that time I thought the demos were really good, so I pitched them to a label, like this electronic label that I was already working with, that put out like some post-industrial and like experimental stuff. And the dude at the label was just like, this is so good, you guys got to join the label, and we're going to put this out, and we don't have any bands, we have all these electronic artists, but like, you'll be our band. He freaked out about it, and so we're like, cool, let's do this. And then we just kind of kept working and put together a band. That whole label kind of dissolved. I'm not really sure why.
Oh, is this prior to Rituals?
Some sort of confidence. Oh, this was 2009.
Yeah,
this goes way back. So
stuff that I don't think, some stuff that didn't even make it onto our demos.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because we just had the demos, and they love the demos. They're like, well, how about we just have the demos professionally mixed and mastered, and we'll put that out. And we said, okay, yeah, if we get these professionally mixed and mastered. And then it just never ended up happening.
Mm-hmm.
But we were, at that point, we're like, well, we're still going to do shit on our own. Like, we're used to doing it. So we were playing shows, and, but then it just didn't end up happening.
Gotcha.
But it kind of gave us at least a little bit of a go ahead, like, oh, maybe we are writing some cool stuff, because that literally happened right when we were putting together the demos. Like, they loved it.
Okay, so back in 2009.
Yeah, it was 2009.
You've been together since 2009 or so. I'm just trying to get a timeline, because honestly, I didn't even know.
So yeah, I think right around 2009.
Yeah, it was right around 2009, I think, when all that stuff was going on with the label and stuff. And then we were playing shows around then too. Like, we put together a band, and even though the label thing fell through, we just kept playing shows and just kept, writing new material.
Did it not go through a couple of labels? Did it not start with Mechanisms and then go to Decisive Sound?
It started with Decisive Sound, and then they started to fold for some reason, and then Mechanisms, another label that was kind of affiliated with them, they're like, well, we'll put it out. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, it did go to Mechanism. And then that shit the bed, and that fell through too. Like, I don't know, like that shit the bed or something. But
yeah,
they weren't like big labels at all. It would have been cool if they would have put it out, like they had a fan base, but I don't think it really would have done much more than. It's not like it would have changed anything. I don't think it was just more so like a little bit of like confidence or something, or like, well, maybe like let's just keep doing it,
Right.
Getting a label to put your demo recordings out is Creed level superiority bullshit, though.
I've heard.
Creed.
Never been there. Yeah, 10,000 years. So
yeah.
So what would you say? I'm going to still hear a green interviewer. I'm still trying to learn my flow, but going back just a little bit, recording and all that kind of stuff, but the songwriting influences. What drives that?
Other artists?
Yeah, influences that you listen to that you're like, okay, I want some of that. None of that. Whatever.
When I started writing the demos, I was just listening to a lot of Godflesh and Skinny Puppy, um, and yeah, and a lot of horror movie scores too. Like that's something we're both always been into. Like horror film scores are just fucking cool. Like even terrible movies, the scores are just cool. So we were like all into the spooky, weird stuff.
Hmm.
But also, yes, I was listening to a lot of like Godflesh and Skinny Puppy, and then Tim actually, I had heard of Ministry, I just hadn't really listened to him, and he turned me on to Ministry. He was like, you got to listen to more of them. So then I started listening to Ministry a lot. Like the kind of stuff in their like late '80s stuff was what really caught me.
Gotcha.
So I would say those guys was kind of like was like kickoff, but I think more and more now we're just kind of morphing into something else. I don't
Right.
think we sound like any of them, but I'm big fans of all those guys.
I think
Cool.
there's little tidbits of the things that we love, but I don't think that we, wear our influences on our sleeves in a completely identifiable way. I
Right.
think you can take away little bits and pieces and be like, oh, that reminds me of this or that. I mean, it's just we're doing what we do and it's organic. And that's why we got sponsored by McDonald's.
I love it. The double cheeseburger is your guys' signature
Uh,
chomp, right?
Yeah, I hate to cut you off there though, but it's not. I love it. It's da 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 da.
I'm loving it.
Woo! Exactly. So what's the
Yeah.
writing process like?
It's changed. For rituals, it like I said earlier, it was Colton. In the past, it's been more of a joint effort in just throwing pieces out there. Um, Colton would always, and still to this day, is doing all the programming, um, and we just bounce ideas off of each other. But as for rituals, literally all of the programming, all of the instrumentation was Colton. So for his writing process, I'll just pass the mic over to him.
Gotcha. I'm opening
I
a
mean,
beer too, just to let you know.
What's that?
I said I'm opening a beer just to let you know. I'm kicking back, enjoying this.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna have to open another one too.
We thought that was people applauding. It's
Mhm.
just the crack of a beer.
I love that sound.
That little fizzle.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sound. Um, well, I mean, I appreciate Tim saying that, but this band's it's a collaboration. Absolutely. It's just I think with this one, we hadn't written anything in a while, and I was just really, really itching to write heavy stuff because I hadn't been writing anything heavy in a while, and I'd been doing a lot of film score stuff and like electronic stuff, and I was just really itching. And then with COVID and stuff, I was just obviously like you're not going out and you're home a lot. Kind of got in a zone, I guess. The songs were just kind of coming, and I was trying some new gear out and some new techniques, and so my things got faster, and I think they sounded better than some of my production, off of previous records, and I just kind of got in a zone. And then winter hit, and then it's like, what else are you gonna do? I mean,
Right.
days are short, it's cold, and you're gonna stay inside, and I end up writing a lot of music, and I just was like, man, this is so much fun writing heavy shit again. I'm just gonna keep writing more. I've got so many ideas, so I think it was just me in a studio, and I would just write them until I felt like they were ready to hand off to Tim, and he was just on all of them. Like he was just like bang, bang, bang. So they're written pretty quickly, really. I would say, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm not sure about your end of it all, but once you handed them off to me, I had a lot of, I guess, downtime in my career as a professional driver, to where I could just listen to them while I was driving and sing along and kind of build up harmonies or whatever else I was going to do. So it didn't take long after getting the songs for me to come back into the studio and record my parts, which then flip flop back to you for all the mixing and production.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you're one of those weird guys I see on the highway singing, you know? waving your
well,
arms and belting at the rearview mirror and stuff.
I shouldn't have said that I was doing it while I was driving. If I had to sing, I would pull over. I would get out of my my vehicle and just do it on the side of the road.
Oh, gotcha. So you touched on
Safety
something,
first.
Colton. Sorry to interrupt. You touched on something. COVID. So you do a lot of the stuff writing at home. I know you guys live in the same town. Do you hang out during COVID, or did you send stuff via Dropbox or whatever, and then flip flop it back that way?
Most of it was, yeah, and all of it was done in my home studio. So I would just program the drums and play the guitars and the bass and the keys and all that, and just kind of chip away at building the songs. And then once they got to a point where I thought they were pretty solid, I would just send Tim rough mixes of the songs and be like, hey, here's another one.
Nice.
And then when he felt like he had the song ready, he would come over to the studio and we would track his vocals.
Track it that way. Okay.
Yeah, we track. We everything was recorded at my place for sure, but he would go and just listen to them and write to them on his own.
Okay.
Recorded in a COVID safe, socially distanced studio.
Right.
Because we care about infections.
Yeah, we were definitely safe for sure.
Right. I think at this point, I mean, now
I live out in the country, so I don't see that many people. And like out at my place, we're way out in the country. So
gotcha. That's funny.
Presidents of the United States of America literally wrote that song, Peaches, about Colton's house because they wanted to be out here recording.
Really? Millions of peaches at Colton's house for free.
Yeah. Moving to the country, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We asked them about it. I don't know what the fuck any of that meant. It's just those guys did a lot of psychedelics.
Oh, I bet. And if you had brought him a set of bass strings, he might have told you more. Because doesn't he play with like 2 strings or something?
Oh yeah,
maybe
I think they do.
Maybe I don't know.
Fucking shiny head. That's all.
Random bits of shitty information. So okay,
yeah, I think he would take like the being an E string, the highs off his guitar.
Right. I thought he was because he was so broke he couldn't order a full set of strings. But so what's the scene like out there, Bend, Oregon? For I mean, you play live. Do you play at bars? Is there a concert hall? Elaborate.
We haven't played a show in a few years. I mean, not that we're not against shows. We definitely played a lot of shows, but we've also kind of viewed this as a studio band too.
Right.
So, I mean, we've been doing this a long time, so we're a little bit picky about shows. We're kind of almost like quality over quantity anymore because we're old and grumpy.
I like it. And you have full-time jobs too, right? I mean, you're not touring musicians.
Yeah, we have careers outside of music.
Right.
Music is just what we love to do, but we have careers completely outside of music.
Careers and families. We've got pets, financial obligations.
Ding. You just hit number 5 on my list of questions. Personal life. We're just going to keep rolling with this. I'm kind of enjoying this right here. So married with pets? That's what you said, Tim?
Married to pets.
Oh, married to pets. So
married to pets, yes.
So do you use the term fur babies? Oh, Jesus Christ. Interview's over. They're never talking to me again.
Fur babies is acceptable.
So neither of you guys are married. I'm just gonna come out and ask. Married?
Are you married?
I'm not married.
I didn't. I guess no.
You're not married?
I'm not married.
I thought you were married.
Tim, you're damn near common law. Come on now.
Tim's definitely common law. I've been together forever. Technically, no. Neither one of us have ever been married. I mean, I have a girlfriend, but we're not talking about that yet.
Oh, cool. Yet. All right.
And neither one of us have kids. Or
me, on the other hand,
always kind of.
Yeah. Aren't you married with children?
Oh yeah, 2 children, 1 dog, 21 years coming up here pretty quick. It's pretty crazy. And I'm just finding out that I can do interviews. What have I been doing all my life, you know?
Being married and having a family.
Yeah, I know, right? But now that the kids are gone and the bulldog sleeps a lot, well, I have to kick him out of the room because he'll snore us right out of here. But yeah. Anyway, so okay, personal life, significant others, we got that. All right, so if you're just tuning in, my name's Brad. You're listening to The Burn and The Burn Online. I'm sitting here with Colton and Tim from Warm Gadget. We've talked about a lot of stuff. Hopefully we'll replay this back later and you can hear what you missed.
Boy.
We're going to play another song now. If I had to pick another one, I would pick New Industry. You want to talk about that song for a second and then we can roll it.
Tim will tell you about the theme. Musically, though, what I like about it is I was going for that kind of old school industrial ministry kind of sound. And I don't know. I think we got it. Our own style of it, but I think that one has the more old school feel out of all the others.
Sweet.
Thematically, as far as lyrically went, it was just kind of about the division in our country over the last 4 or so years. In a way, it was pretty apolitical, I believe. In other ways, it wasn't apolitical, but overall, that was the theme. Is just kind of like harkening back to the beautiful 1960s. Come on, people! Now, everybody get together, smile on one another.
Something like that.
However that shit went.
Exactly. Right on. Well, let's play that. This is New Industry from Warm Gadget. You're listening to The Burn and The Burn Online. Colton, you mentioned talking about horror movies. I think both of you did. And the music involved in that and scary and whatnot. I know that you did some scoring for music videos and or small budget films or something like that.
I've never done any music videos, but just films. I mean, Tim and I actually scored some short horror films years back. Like we did a handful of them together, just like short films. I mean, I was really into that. I went to school for it, and I've always wanted to be in that world and work in that, and I still do. But yeah, we did some together actually under the Warm Gadget name, and then I've been staying at it all these years. I actually did my first full-length feature score. I scored it like 2 years ago, but it just came out, and it's out. I think it's out on Amazon now, and I've done a bunch of documentaries. So I finally worked my way up to the bigger-ish leagues, which took a long time because for years I was just scoring like student films and short films and
Right.
But finally worked my way up to some bigger budgeted films, which is super fun. But the horror ones are actually the most fun. I think Tim would agree with me. Those are just fun.
I know I caught your name in the credits of the Blockbuster movie. I had to make sure that I paused it and took a picture. Yeah, the documentary for the last Blockbuster. Yeah. I think that's what it's called even.
Yeah, I composed a bunch of the music for that. I scored another documentary called Seven Hills that's out on Amazon. I think the last Blockbuster's on Netflix.
Yeah.
I did. And then I scored a full-length feature thriller film called A Stone in the Water. So those 3 movies were all like right around the same time.
Wow. So how does that happen? They contact you and say, hey, we've got this film, put music to it, and you just come up with the music, or do they give you ideas on what they want?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They have very strong ideas and opinions about what they want. They're especially the ones with budgets behind them. Like they know exactly what they want and they're very vocal about it. So I just, all those came from them just liking some stuff I had done in the past. So they contacted me and said, would you like to work with us? And I'm like, yeah, of course. So, but then they're very vocal about what they want. So it's a lot of like me demoing out stuff. And then they tell me which direction to go.
Yeah. Yay, nay, or whatnot.
I think like with the older, yeah, exactly. Like yes, no. It's usually like yep or nope.
Yeah,
very, very cut and dry.
Pretty much.
Or maybe they're like, yes, I love this piece, but take the piano out or take the percussion out or something like that maybe. But like with the early stuff back in the day, which is super fun, like the ones that Tim and I have worked on, they had such low budgets and they were just trying to get the thing done that we just did whatever the hell we wanted. Yeah, like it's something fun about doing those low budget ones because they just they just need to get it done and they
Right.
have hardly any budget, so they're just stoked that you're even doing it for them. And we just did whatever the hell we want. Like even we scored this one movie called PMS.
Preteen menstrual monster syndrome.
I think that's the one that I
That
did. I
was-
did see that.
That was so much fun though. Like we didn't have a lot of time, but it was fun because we literally just did whatever we wanted and just made weird stuff.
Nice.
When the budgets come around and you're signing contracts and stuff and there's money involved and you're like literally signing 25-page documents, you know, then they're like very like, you know, picky, you know, because it's going to, you know, they got to make money off of it.
Right.
So they're very, very picky. The last blockbuster was a different one because I'm not the only composer on that movie. Like there's a handful of other people.
Right.
And then there's a lot of like, I think he does some drops, like some song drops on there too. I just know that guy through another film director who I'm friends with, who I've worked with, and they're just buddies, and he had recommended me. So I'm not the only composer on that one. It's like I'm one of a few. So it was more so I went over there in a spotting session and saw like a rough cut, and then he was pointing out the scenes that needed music, and then he had a very specific kind of vibe he wanted, and then I just filled those spots.
Those spots. Yeah. I'm going to have to watch it again.
Yeah,
And
I didn't
see what I can.
I didn't score the whole thing.
Yeah. And see if I can pick out what you did.
Most of the stuff that I did on that one is in the second half of it.
Okay. I'll watch it again and see.
I need to watch it again. I actually have only watched it once and it was broken. I watched a little bit and I watched a little bit, but so maybe I'm wrong, but I think all the music I did is in the second half.
Half of it.
I'd have to double check though.
Nice.
It's so funny to me though that you actually saw the last blockbuster and watched it long enough to see my name in the credits at the end.
Well, that's the only reason I watched it, Colton, is because I knew your name was in the credits.
So you already knew? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tim had told me about it.
Is that again? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, because I was thinking like maybe you just like randomly, because they screwed my name up at the end too. Like it's not my full name. Well, that was another thing. I was like, what the hell? I think it just said Tyler Colton. At least it does on Netflix.
Fuck, I have it on my phone. I took a picture of it, but
which it's correct on IMDb, but on the movie, I was like, what the hell? But you know, it's not a big deal because, like I said, I wasn't the only composer. Like I'm just one of a few different people that worked on it. Whereas like the other ones I've done, like I'm either the composer or I'm co-composing it with this other guy that Billy that I work with a lot. He's a cellist, so we've co-scored stuff. But
yeah, Third Seven
that one was a weird situation. You know, like he just needed to finish the film, and he knew that I had experience, and his buddy, you know, liked working with me. Was like, oh, grab Colton. He'll
do it for Coke.
How cool is it having IMDb credits? I absolutely love it. You've got credits for scoring. I've got credits for sound work and for acting.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and Warm Gadget has credits on IMDb as composers. Yeah, because we did PMS, and then I think we did. There's another one on there too, like Checked Out. We did. That's on there.
Checked Out and potentially Late Submission.
Late Submission we scored. Yeah, like we've always had that ambition. Like even when we started, we're like, let's write music that would fit with horror films, and maybe we'll get lucky enough to score some. Because I was always trying to find those things, and so we kind of weaseled our way into getting some films. And yeah, like Warm Gadget actually has IMDb credits.
That's awesome. So would you do like another Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh, I would.
You score something like that?
Oh, any of those. I would kill to do those.
I think there was some talk through an associate of Colton's at one point in time for us to potentially work on a remake of Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, and it didn't end up going through, but I know the guy that the executive producer and director of the Pumpkinhead movies, he is a friend, like a friend of a friend, and I met him like around 2010 or 2011, and he was trying to get a new one made, and he had heard some of my music and was like, "Yeah, you got the chops, kid." Basically, is what he
You
said.
got the
You got the
chops.
chops, kid.
Yeah, he's like, if I get this Pumpkinhead movie made, if we can get it made, like you're working on it, and we were both just like, what the fuck?
Fuck.
We are both huge horror fans, so that was a huge thing to us at that point in time. Just the potential opportunity, and I'm going to say it right now: if there is a potential opportunity coming down the turnpike, we are fucking horror fans. Colton has got a lot of influence from modern horror composers, modern composers. My big influences are 70s shit, 80s shit, John Carpenter, electro horror, goblin, stuff like that. I'm selling us right now,
You
but
are.
we're very professional. So if you're listening, there's got to be a paycheck in it, you guys.
I love it.
Yeah, we would be down. I mean, we've done stuff like we know what we're doing. As Warm Gadget goes, we've only gotten the opportunity to do some like really low budget stuff, which we still had a blast doing it. But yeah, when that Pumpkinhead thing came around, we were like, this, even if this is horrible, like
Right.
like wouldn't that just be fun though? Just to, because you can, there's so many terrible horror films out there that the scores are still amazing,
Killer.
you know, like, and they're still fun to watch even when they're terrible, but we just are suckers for that. And even if the movie was ridiculous, which in a way I would hope it would be, I know
You
we
remember it for the music
do a really
rather
cool
than the
score.
movie itself.
Yeah, like we would just go in and give it 110% and
Right.
just do, we would slay it.
I don't watch a whole lot of horror stuff. The Evil Dead series, I watched that. The first
Fantastic.
one scared the living piss out of me. I'm kind of a pussy,
the
to
first
be
movie?
honest. Yeah.
Yeah, that first movie was, it's
Fuck.
creepy and
It's so out there, Brad, that it's hard to not be affected by that movie.
That was
At the
wacko,
time,
man.
especially at the time that it came out, when you had Friday the 13th and stuff like that. That movie came out and it was just a surreal blend of hell and cartoons and
Dude.
everything that was nightmarish.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey,
I-
it's not a big deal that you were scared by it.
I remember when I saw Nightmare on Elm Street for the first time. Shit, was I early middle school? Probably. And I lived outside of town, you know, out in the sticks, rural roads, you know. I lived way out there. And
Was there an Elm Street Bayou?
the kind of. No, I don't think so. But I remember getting off the bus and had my little saxophone with me, you know, and my parents weren't home, so I was going to my friend Pete's house. And we watched that movie after school, and then I had to walk home, which was half a mile maybe, in the dark. No streetlights or anything. And I was scared shitless. I've never been a big horror fan, but it intrigues me. So
you got to hang out with us and watch some horror movies.
Well, let's do it.
We will support you and we will comfort you, but we will also do our best to ruin you.
Okay. I mean, I'm down. I've got 2 COVID shots. We can hang out legally.
Legally, the Gestapo won't get us yet.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm down. Let's do some horror shit. We all need to hang out at some point, I suppose, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't hung out. I mean, we did your show. We did the burn like at your place years ago when you still lived in Bend.
Tim and I were talking about that because I met Tim in 2010 at Jeff's wedding.
Jeff.
And I think, was it? No, 2011. Something like that. And then we must have met, I don't know, this was a number of years after that. You came over and we were playing with computers, taking shit apart, trying to build something. And then I wished I had recorded the live stuff when we did that. I don't know.
Colton had actually asked me about that a little while ago, wondering if you had. possibly still had the
No,
archive files.
dude. No, I have very little, and the little that I do is with Nick. Mr. Nick Alias. But
Nick Alias.
Nick Alias. Yeah, I don't know what he's up to now, but yeah, no, I
He's
didn't do a
probably-
whole lot of. I didn't know what Audacity was. I just did the burn using Sam Broadcaster and broadcast out to the web, and did my shit. But
Yeah, that was cool because we just bullshitted and then we played a bunch of music too.
dude, we
Like,
can
were
still
just, like,
do
oddball
it.
stuff.
We can still do it. I've got it all set up using some software to bring mics in and mix minus and shit. And yeah, you guys could DJ on the show too. I mean, I could be not even here and let you guys log in and take it over. On that note, should we play one more song?
Yeah, what are you gonna play?
I want to play If I Only Could, because if I only could, I would.
If I Only Could has been a big international hit for us, getting promoted by magazines and the top news outlets from all over the world. Shout out to Onyx Music in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. I read the interviews.
Fantastic review page. Fantastic.
Yeah, they
Yeah, that
actually.
was a good one.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's actually my second favorite one that we did on the record, but I interrupted you. What were you gonna say?
No, it's all good. I just know that the videos are out, and I commented or posted and tagged or something on the Facebook thing, and the Onyx
Oh, yeah,
Music
both
liked my post. It was cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they're cool. They've been supporters since like right when we put out the first single.
Wow.
They've been pretty supportive and really like it. And out of all the reviews we've had, theirs was like the best one. I was like, wow, thanks. They really loved it. They really took the time and broke down every song and like dissected it. And not a lot of them do that. A lot of them just kind of get in and like, oh, this is what we think of it. But they
Right.
broke down every single song, and so yeah, we're stoked on them. They're down in Australia, but
Well,
yeah, I like that song. I like how it turned out. I feel like that one's kind of got it's maybe the direction we're going.
I feel like it has a strong Men at Work vibe, and that's why Onyx liked it so much.
because it's down under, right?
Yeah, it's a Vegemite sandwich.
Oh,
Mhm.
I had one of those earlier. Stomach has just not felt right since.
You should have just eaten dead rats instead.
Right? All right, let's play it. If I Only Could. Warm Gadget. Brad, the Burn, hanging out with Tim and Colton from Warm Gadget. We'll be back.
Brad, you're a really big supporter of music in general, and I know that you have this uncanny ability to it's almost like you're universally connected to musicians and artists, and you run into people in the most random places, like, I don't know, say a wedding or a gas station, anywhere
Right.
like that. So what are you listening to now? What have you been getting into? Is there anything cool that we should know about and everybody else should know about?
Well, honestly, I have to attribute me wearing my friend's band's merch. I had Foe's hat on. Oh, geez, another beer. I just opened a beer. Yeah, I had my Foe's hat on, and I was getting gas for the Scoobaroo there in Warrenton, Oregon, at Freddy's, and the kid's like, "Is that a metal band?"
Oregon.
What's that?
Foes are a great band out of Central Oregon.
Oh, absolutely. Foes. And I was telling the kid, kind of, sort of, told him the Foes. And I said, there's plenty of other bands in Central Oregon that people just don't know about, but they should, and he's like, oh, that's awesome. He says, I'm in a metal band. And he told me the name, and I looked him up, and it's good. I mean, I like it. It's the chunky death metal and grunty vocals and shit. But yeah, I chatted with him, and he actually emailed the Burn and wanted to know how he could get his music played. And I'm like, dude, it's pretty much just a station that
Fill
has
out all the
music playing.
paperwork, submit it through the right channels, have your agent contact us.
Exactly. And I'm totally legal right now. Working on some more legal, but
If someone offers their music to you for airtime, that is kind of a binding contract by word anyway.
pretty much. But no, seriously, the music, I think about music all day long, every day, all day. You know, even when there's times I don't want to. I do a bunch of driving for a living as well. And even when I don't have anything on in the vehicle, I'm still in that room behind my eyeballs thinking about music and, you know, the next thing and how could I be a cool interviewer, or what do I say to these guys that I already know? And I don't know. It's constant. So if I hear or see anything, I do. I poke at people and ask. I don't know. That's how I meet, I suppose.
I think it's fantastic. I've spent quite a bit of time around you and watched you interact with people on a level that I am personally completely unable to do. I don't know if it's agoraphobia or just a piss poor personal demeanor, but you seem to just attract people, and you're always out there trying to connect. It's fantastic.
I dig it. Well, I appreciate that.
That's one of the big reasons why we appreciate you and why we appreciate the Burn Online so much.
Yeah, it's a fun project. It's been around since 2011, but I need to do more with it, and hopefully that's gonna come soon. So what are you drinking these days, guys?
I mean, I'm a hillbilly, so cheap, light.
Perfect.
Anything cheap and light is what I go for.
I'm a big C- fan myself. Little girl's light.
I just don't get the microbrew stuff. It's not for me. I mean, you do you, but I like Keystone Light, Coors Light.
There you go.
The cheap light stuff is what I go for.
Dude, we're friends. We're brothers from another mother. I tell you what.
Yep, probably.
I've been drinking blood from a cat's face.
Have you really?
Yes.
How does that taste?
Tim's
Like
into
pennies?
weird stuff.
Does it taste like pennies?
No, it tastes like cats.
Tim's the first one that ever like showed me what a Boilermaker was.
Well, you were talking about that right before we started doing this whole thing.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
You put whiskey in the beer?
It's a British beer cocktail. I ruined a lot of people's lives with Boilermakers, including my own.
And I remember having one. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do that again, but
I never even knew what it was.
Fun.
That's weird.
I didn't know until he showed me. You ordered a Boilermaker, and I remember it from Dumb and Dumber, but I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like.
They have Boilermakers in Dumb and Dumber?
Oh, isn't that?
He ordered a round of Boilermakers.
Yeah, he ordered a round of Boilermakers for Seabass and his buddies.
Yeah, for Seabass. He was like,
kick his ass, Seabass.
Kick his ass, Seabass. He was like, what do you guys want? Like 4 Boilermakers, you know? And I just thought it meant like, I thought it was like a beer.
So that's a shot of whiskey in a beer?
Yeah, you pour a shot of whiskey in a beer. And Tim ordered one time, and he was like, I'm like, that's what it is? He's like, yeah.
That's gross.
He's like, more bang for your buck. You get a cheap beer and then a shot of whiskey, and you're like, you just milk that for an hour or two.
Shot in a beer, and we're in the clear, right?
Yeah.
I learned about Boilermakers from the classic 1990s album Liar from the Jesus Lizard. I believe it's the first track on the album.
Oh yeah.
And after listening to that skull crushing track, I had to figure out what a Boilermaker was. And it makes sense with the unique brand of alcoholism that David Yao has. I could see that guy relishing Boilermakers. And just, it's not a drink. You're not going to just sit around at a family barbecue and have a bunch of Boilermakers unless you're the Manson family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hardcore, but
or Rob Zombie's
Jesus Lizard album.
Yeah. I need to listen to the Jesus Lizard more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liar, you can't go wrong. It's just
Liar. I'm taking notes.
It's so good.
I'm
It's
taking
so good.
notes.
I have to admit, I kind of try to copy that bass tone every once in a while.
Classic bass tone. But the Jesus Lizard and Scratch Acid both attribute a lot of their sound to the Birthday Party. And if you
Mhm.
go back and listen to Birthday Party stuff, that bass tone it's prevalent even
Yeah.
back in the 80s.
Birthday
It's
party.
that kind of like mid-range, heavy, gritty bass tone. Not a ton of low end, but yeah, it's a cool tone. It doesn't work for everything, but when
Right.
it does work,
I'm gonna have to. I'm taking notes.
it really works. Yeah, Liar.
Yep,
So good.
I got it. Scratch Acid birthday party. I know Tim's talked about birthday party before.
Yeah. We're actually supposed to be playing some birthday parties in the near future that are sponsored by our new sponsor, McDonald's.
I'm loving it. I'm gaining weight. Yeah. Speaking of that, Jesus Christ, dude, I stepped on the scale when I got home today. I didn't hardly eat anything. 250 pounds. I'm like bloated. It's really weird. I don't know
You
if.
say you didn't eat anything. What does that mean? Like, do you eat half a goat?
Well, no, dude. I mean, even in the morning after the morning dump and piss and everything, I'm 245.
You gotta piss harder.
Normally I'm 225 or so, but I've gained like 20 some odd pounds in the last month, and I can't figure out why. You got any ideas?
Usually in the mornings when
Dr.
I try
Tim?
to drop weight through bodily functions,
Well,
I'll get
yeah.
into the bathtub and I'll just do sit-ups while I'm doing it, so I can really just kind of exacerbate the flow for everything.
Really? So that's what I'm doing wrong?
Yeah, just get in the bathtub, do some sit-ups while you're doing a shit and a piss and a piss and a shit.
That's a little weird.
Yeah.
Okay. We digress.
Yeah, we digress.
So,
We devolve.
so we talked about weird band. Have you guys ever listened to Polka Dot Cadaver?
No.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever listen to oh my God. Totally drew a blank right now.
You have.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Hold on a second.
very bungly, huh?
The guy's name is Todd
Like old bungle.
Todd Smith.
Circusy.
Okay.
Polka Dot. Hold on.
Todd Smith, also the Altar Boys,
Oh,
correct?
Yes. And Polka Dot Cadaver. Jesus. Why am I totally drawing a blank? Oh, this is embarrassing. Oh, Dog Fashion Disco. There we go. I totally drew a blank
yeah, I
on
know those
that.
guys.
Dog Fashion Disco.
So Dog Fashion Disco, Polka Dot Cadaver, the Altar Boys, a band called El Creepo. You should check that one out. El Creepo is super
My
good.
tattoo says.
El Creepo.
Yeah, in a really pretty font.
Is it Comic Sans? No laughter there at all. Interview's over.
We
Oh,
both,
I missed it. I think.
I laughed, but I had the mic away from my face.
He said he has a weird tattoo in a creepy font, and I said, "What, Comic Sans?" Yeah.
You know who you should get on the show is Steak Sauce Mustache.
Ooh,
They're out of Medford.
Medford, yeah.
I only know. Well, do you know more than? I mean, we both know.
but I know Brett.
Okay, we both just know Brett. And
Yeah,
'cause
that's
he used
the-
to live in Bend,
Okay.
and he
Orchie
used,
Bort.
yeah, he used to play in a band called Orchie
Orchie
Bort.
Bort
back
is
when-
really?
Yeah, they were a
Fucking
really
amazing.
fucking awesome band, and around the time they were playing, like Tim was still in the Kronkmen, and I was playing in Vihara. And
You were in Vihara? I saw you live then, years ago.
oh yeah,
No
You didn't
shit.
know I was in that. Yeah,
I did not
He
know
was the
that.
guy with dreads to his ass.
Really?
yeah. Vihara was. I mean, I
Who was
started
the-
that with Austin, my brother, when we were still teenagers. But we played a lot of shows with the Kronkmen back in the day.
Okay.
We were just obviously three dudes from Redmond, and we played a lot of shows together and stuff like that. But I remember during the time that Vihara was busy and Kronkmen were busy with Tim, Orchiport was going. And I was like, what the? Because I had just gotten to Dillinger at that time, and
Those dudes were already.
they were insane. And I just was so blown away, and I was so bummed that they didn't really stick around. But that being said, I think right around the time that Tim and I were reaching out to put together a live band, and we were trying to find band members,
Mhm.
we literally hit up Brett because he's actually a pretty solid drummer. I mean, he's a ripping, he's an amazing guitarist, but he's also a good drummer. And we were like looking for drummers, and we're like, well, what about Brett? Like, I bet he could handle this. Like, as long as he can play to a click track, like,
Right.
talented. And he was too busy at the time, I think, and I think he also was considering moving back to Southern Oregon at the time, so it didn't work out. But we did, which he did, and he's still there, and he started steak sauce, which is rad. But we at least though we found a different drummer and we were playing shows, but we did have him open for us a
Nice.
couple times.
Bald Eagle shirt.
His solo project, Bald Eagle shirt, which was just him playing, like shredding over the top of drum tracks.
You gotta fucking YouTube some Bald Eagle shirt.
I've
Yeah.
not heard that,
Bald
but I
Eagle
know
shirt.
Steak Sauce Mustache.
And steak sauce, yeah, because they're actually, I mean, that record they did has been getting a decent amount of attention.
Fuck, I gotta
It's a
write this
good
shit
record.
down.
Like,
Steak Sauce.
And nice. And fun fact, just because we know Brett well enough, he is, I hit him up not that long ago. He's going to play and shred some guitar on a new Warm Gadget song.
Fuck yeah. That's badass.
I remember being at the Redmond skate park, which I lived right next to. Myself and the Cronkmen were there fucking every single day.
You were fucking the Cronkman
shredding.
every day?
What's that?
Nothing. Another dad joke.
We
Sorry.
were fucking every day.
Me and the fucking Cronkman. Yeah. Okay, go.
So it would be like we'd all get off work, we'd go skate for a couple of hours, and we'd go practice and whatever.
Mhm.
One day, those dudes weren't there, and this big dumb jockey motherfucker was walking around the park handing out flyers. And me being kind of a shithead, which I mostly still am, but I've kind of tapered off a little bit.
That's why we love you,
This guy
Tim.
handed me a flyer, and he was a total fucking jock. So I was just like, "What is this shit? What are you doing?" And I really was kind of rude to him. And he was completely cool. He was like, "This is my band. We're playing at the Boys and Girls Club in Redmond." So I was like, maybe I'll check it out. Total dickhead move. But I went there and I checked out this band called Orchiport. And
Bort.
I'm not shitting you, man. This was the weirdest show I've ever been to in my life. This was probably about 2003, 2004. By this point in my life, I'd seen Slayer, I'd seen Slipknot, I'd seen Marilyn Manson, White Zombie, tons of punk shows, tons of other fucked up bands. I go to the Boys and Girls Club, and there's this band playing called Orchiport. And there's a bunch of little ass kids running around. And then there's these probably 19, 20-year-old guys that seem like the most scary, violent band that I have ever seen.
Can you hear that?
Like, I watched their guitarist, which is our friend Brett, literally smash his own head bloody with his guitar and just run into the crowd like he was going to plow over 10-year-old kids. It was actually terrifying.
Really?
It was so good to actually feel something at a show.
Can you hear that in the background? No? No?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah. I can hear a little bit, yeah.
I brought him up.
They were nuts.
The Alphabet,
They
2002.
They were freaking crazy. And I remember like discovering them around that time too. And I was like, wait, what? These guys are from our area? Like, I was like, we got to get them to play a Vahara show. Like, we got to get them to play with us. And by the time I think Austin got a hold of them, they were already done.
Really?
They were like, they had just this tiny little like year, maybe.
Yeah.
It was like a year. And I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? Like, I just got your demo.
That's
Like,
so
you guys
weird.
gotta come.
I swear that I
It was
heard
just such a special thing.
I swear I heard the name Orchie Bort before, obviously now, but before Tim said it. Because
Well, that's good. I hope you did.
it
I
sounds
wish you
super
would've-
familiar. I just pulled up a video on YouTube. Orchie Bort, the Alphabet, 2002. There's a picture of a
Yeah.
little skinny blonde dude playing guitar, and that's Brett.
Yeah, that's Brett.
That's Brett.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I literally just talked to him texting yesterday. You should play guitar on a song. He's like, sign me up. Like,
Sign me
what?
up. Hey, so Colton
Yeah.
and Tim, you guys still there? Am I the
Yeah.
only one here? Okay. So collaborations. You guys work with any other bands?
Definitely other players. Absolutely. We're pretty stoked so Brett from Steak Sauce Mustache.
Brett
know them.
Roos.
Brett Roos. Used back in the day from Orchie Bort, who we're big fans of.
Bald Eagle shirt.
Yeah, Bald Eagle shirt.
I'm wearing
We
mine right
played
now.
shows we played shows with him, we should say. And then Tim, you say
Is that a drum
Go.
roll?
That was a drum
That
roll.
was
I
ter-
thought I was giving you a drum roll.
Terrible.
We managed to connect with Kelly Scott, the drummer from the legendary 90s alternative rock band Failure. And Kelly Scott has been kind enough and enjoyed our music enough to record drums for one of our songs for this upcoming release.
No kidding.
Yeah, we're pretty stoked. Yeah, I got his drums
Crazy
back from.
stoked.
Yeah, we're really stoked. I got his drum tracks back from his engineer here. Shoot, like a week or two ago, and yeah, it's fucking great. Like, great drummer.
Solid.
Such a great, like, in the pocket, tasteful drummer, and he liked Rituals so much that he was like, you guys should let me, in his words, he was like, you should let me slay some drums on your new stuff. And we're like,
What he said
what?
was, "Oh, I could slay to that." Something-
Slay
that
to that.
might not be verbatim.
But just the fact that he was like, can I play some drums on the new shit? And we're like, did I just read that right?
Kelly Scott from
yeah.
Failure just say that.
Like, yeah, of course you can play drums. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what do you need? And he just said, oh, well, send me the demo with all the stems and the click track. And so I sent I stemmed the track out, and then I think after like 2 weeks or so, I got the stems from his engineer, and we're like just now starting to mix the song. It's going to be a little bit of work because, I want to make sure we do it right, because we've got him playing drums on it.
We've got Kelly
Nice.
Scott playing drums on one of our songs, so we want to make sure we've got Kelly Scott drums fully
Dude,
represented.
badass.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
digging it.
He nailed it. Like, he fucking nailed it. Like, I have to re-record all the guitars because I want to like play to him a little bit more, because I'm going to pull out some of the programming. But
Wow.
this is kind of crazy, because
I'm
I've been a
excited.
Failure fan.
I've
been a big Failure fan for years, and
I'm
I
a
see
big
they-
I'm a big failure, and I don't think I've even listened to the band before myself.
I'm a big
but
fan of your failures.
I know, right?
Are you not familiar?
No, honestly, I think you guys talking, pre-interview stuff talked about failure, but
Okay.
I don't know the band
look 'em
myself.
up. They're not a metal band. I mean, they're not. I wouldn't say they're particularly that heavy per
Right.
se, but they're just a really fucking cool band that I would say,
Alternative.
yeah, I would say they're more alternative. Like, definitely look up like Magnify or Fantastic Planet.
Yeah, I have
It's
them. I have them up on the Google right here, the Google machine, and
Well, and
I'll
they-
pull on
what's
Spotify.
funny- What's funny is they had made a name for themselves, like just as Failure for a while, and they used to tour with Tool a lot. Like, they were buddies with Tool, but I think what kind of brought them more fame was A Perfect Circle covered The Nurse Who Loved Me on their second record. So
Okay.
that was a Failure song off of Fantastic Planet. And they kind of like obviously Perfect Circle is bigger, so they just got that more notoriety, and that
Trickle
kind of,
down.
yeah, it kind of put them a little bit more on the map.
Right.
I personally like Failure's version better, but that
Huh.
and then Greg Edwards from Failure is in A Perfect Circle.
Oh, no kidding. I like Perfect Circle.
It's just one of those weird things where how that happened. Like Tim kind of made that happen, but he was pretty stoked on it, the record, and
Nice.
so really great. Like that song's getting
Pretty
close.
eclectic.
Yeah,
Pretty
I think
ripping.
this next one's going to be way more diverse. I think the heavier moments are going to be heavier, the mellower moments are going to be mellower. But
Some slower gothy stuff.
Yeah,
cool.
It's going to be a good one, and this one's going to be way more collaborative. Like the last one was just pretty much just me and Tim, with the exception of a couple little additions here and there. But
right.
A lot of this stuff is like very, like we're using Kelly from Failure on the drums. Like we didn't have a drummer on the last record at all. I just
How cool is that? Seriously.
I know it's weird, being like just being a fan of the band for so long, and then to be chatting with him on the phone, talking about like what he needs. Like I'm like, what?
Right, a little surreal.
Kind of mind bending. Yeah.
Yeah, very surreal.
It's like, dude, that's
I knew
super
that
cool.
Colton was a huge fan of Failure. The only exposure I've ever had to Failure was through Colton.
Nice.
And when that opportunity arose, I took a shot at it, and we got lucky, and it worked out for us. So
I dig it.
Super, super cool. We also have, and this is going to be a Burn Online exclusive.
Oh, I'm excited.
We haven't mentioned anything about Kelly, but we haven't mentioned this at all. On the 4th track of our upcoming release, we actually got Trent Reznor to impersonate Wilford Brimley.
No kidding.
It's kind of mind-blowing. That wasn't an organic thing. That cost us a lot of money. It cost us about $13,000.
No shit.
He does a really great impression. He starts yelling about diabetes.
Diabetes.
It's killer.
Awesome.
Just stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned. Wait for it.
Hell yeah.
Minds.
So talking about bands and collaborations and whatnot, what have you guys been listening to recently?
Colton.
Me first? Recently, the most recent was like yesterday, or 2 days ago, I stumbled across this band. They're called Tala. You probably would hate them, but the singer's getting like a lot of comparisons to Patton. I don't think he sounds like Patton at all, but I could see why people are saying that, because he's just chaotic. Like I guess he was like a vocal teacher before he was asked to join this band. Really crazy range. Definitely talented. Some people are saying it's like new metal for today, but like I feel like that's kind of a slap in their face because the band is so ridiculously good. But I can see what they're talking about.
They're amazing. They're amazing.
They're amazing as
I'll totally cut you off. Isn't that Mike Portnoy's son on drums?
Yep, I was just going to bring that up. That's what caught my attention. I was like, wait a second, Mike Portnoy's kid? This has to be at least some amazing drumming.
It's pretty
and
wacko.
I pulled up the song and I was just like, holy shit. Like, even if you don't like them, I don't know how you couldn't at least appreciate what these guys are doing.
The song Placenta came out. God, it's been...
The song Overconfidence was...
Shit, almost 2 years ago, but...
Overconfidence was what I was listening to. I was like,
really?
Oh my God. Like they're, whether you like it or not, those guys are crazy talented. And obviously, that Mike Portnoy's kid, he obviously grew up playing drums from the time he's little.
Oh, absolutely.
No offense to Mike Portnoy, but I think his kid's better.
Yeah.
Just insane.
Fuck you, Mike Portnoy.
That's funny.
So freaking good. It's just mind blowing.
There's a YouTube video out of Tala playing in like a barn. with dirt
Yeah, I saw
floor
some
and
of that.
stuff. That whole they got a girl
Yeah.
playing guitar, and
Yeah, which
they
is
are all place.
but they're like obsessed with horror,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just weird, and the whole album is like this weird concept of like this kid like being trapped by his mother his entire life, and then
Yep.
he eventually eats her.
It's a whole theme album. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a spooky weird, like they are weirdos, but
Sounds like McDonald's.
yeah, it is.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
But anyway,
I'm gonna
I mean
eat
that's
ya.
like the most recent thing. Like I've been pretty blown away by how good they are. Like
Oh yeah.
it's obnoxious and just insane.
No, it's
I
a
think,
great
and
album.
very
I play a bunch of that stuff on the Burn. It's pretty sweet.
nice. So
Well, hell
That's why
yeah.
you should check out The Burn
The Burn online. Exactly.
you are on top of it. I was trying to pull up something that maybe you hadn't heard.
Yeah. No, dude. We haven't hung out
I
in a
don't
long
have
time,
any-
Colton. I got a lot on you. We'll sit down and chat some
do.
more.
You do. I was like, maybe I'm pulling out something that's new and I can claim it. But
No, I love it.
um,
I love it.
but shit. Other than that, I mean, I do listen to Health a lot. Those guys are cool.
Mhm.
Code's new record was pretty badass. I don't know, Tim. What are you listening to?
I'm going back to the future. I'm not listening to anything new. I've been crushing a couple of Plasmatics albums. I've been crushing the first Dix album on Alternative Tentacle Records. A lot of old Alice Donut.
Al's Donut, love them. New York City.
Love them.
Yeah.
And for me, a lot of 80s music. Bonnie Tyler, Echo and the Bunnymen, Suicide. I just watched a short little bit on YouTube last night about Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Dude.
And everybody in the US knows Come On Eileen,
Mm-hmm.
but they had a ton of hits in the UK before that. And that band is fucking amazing. They were playing the Come On Eileen era was kind of a manufactured thing for them. They brought in a bunch of strings and they went for this Celtic vibe. But prior to that, they were like almost a soul band, and it was so fucking good. But no one's ever heard anything. Well, in the States, I'm sure there's somebody, but the majority, myself included, we know Come On Eileen. There's so much good shit from Dexy's
Midnight Runners. Yeah, that's probably the only song that I know. And have you ever seen the Halloween costume for Come On Eileen? Yeah. Google Halloween costume. Come On Eileen.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
It's not necessarily not safe for work, but it's pretty funny.
But it's also not safe for work.
Yeah, it's probably not safe for work. Do it on your phone using a VPN.
He could do it, but he does it better, Rob Zombie.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hey, Come On Eileen's a great song. There's no doubt about that. But anybody that's listening, if you enjoy 80s music, check out some of the early, even later than Come On Eileen. Check out Dexy's Midnight Runners. That shit is killer. It's amazing. Amazing band. The singer and kind of the leader of the whole thing, I think the dude was a complete maniac, but he just crushes it. The whole thing is good. That's what I've been listening to. Mostly 80s shit and 70s shit and 60s shit and anything that Iggy Pop has done from the 1800s up until now.
Yeah, you're a big Iggy fan. I know that. Your dog's name is Iggy.
Yep.
Yep. Personal. I know this
My
stuff.
first son's name was Iggy. His son is named Iggy the second, third.
Which I can definitely hear that stuff coming in on the new stuff.
I like it.
Oh.
I would say vocally, I'm hearing it. But
we do a lot of vocally. I feel like I'm an impressionist, which I'm not good at impressions. So I will tell Colton while we're in the studio, I'll say, yeah, I was kind of feeling like this I don't know what's a good example or a bad example.
Danzig.
Yeah, I'll say, hey, I was kind of feeling a Danzig vibe on this, and then I will try to
Right.
record that, and Colton goes, yeah, that didn't sound like Danzig at
No.
all. And I will say, hey, I was thinking I would just deliver my parts more like Rob Zombie, and he hits record, and I just go, yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome.
You know it.
5, 5,
5, 5, 5, 7.
Yeah.
5.
The evil Elvis. The evil
God, have you ever
Elvis.
looked at the lyrics to that song?
No.
Oh God, it's hilarious.
Fuck White Zombie, but also White Zombie's killer.
Right.
Yeah, like we love him. Don't get me wrong, but oh God, the lyrics to that song. 5, yeah.
Yeah. 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point in my life, I was good friends with a huge White Zombie fan, and I don't feel like this happened. We sat down and we listened to Astro Creep 2000, and we notated every time Rob Zombie said "yeah," and it was about 243
Jesus.
times on that one album.
That's gonna ruin me now, because that's a good album.
Oh,
It
it's
is a
killer
good album, yeah.
It doesn't matter how many times he said "yeah," it's a killer album.
Is
But that motherfucker, that was probably the first word he ever said as a baby, and that stuck with him.
Space Lord? Yeah. Horus?
Yeah.
Horus something slag?
Space Lord.
Yeah. Something? Yeah.
5.
I love it. 5? Yeah.
Dracula.
Dude, it never gets old.
Dude, I'm gonna have to listen to that now.
Killer album. Rob Zombie. If you're listening.
Well, I actually like that song that he put out here a couple years ago. It was like,
It was called Yeah.
no, but it was
He
like,
collaborated with James Hetfield. Yeah.
yeah. I can hear that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's the James Hetfield.
But yeah, the song was like something about space or something. I don't know. It almost had like a Primus feel to it, but I like it. It was cool.
All right, Tim and Colton, I super appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging out with me here on The Burn.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. This has been killer.
I
you.
enjoyed
Always a pleasure.
enjoyed everything that I heard from you guys, and from the past to the present, and we look forward to the future. We'll get together again soon, and hopefully we'll talk about new endeavors from there.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds great.
All right, let's lead out with that weird band that you talked about, Orchie Bort. Is that what it was?
Orchie Bort.
Yeah. do it.
Exactly. All right. So this is Orchie Bort and the Alphabet. No, just kidding.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks to burnonlineradio.com.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
thanks, Brad.
Super
Pleasure.
appreciate it. Let's catch up soon. All right.
Let's do it.
Do you?
All right. Later.
Later.